Crowdfunding is a risky business where the consumer is also the investor, putting their faith in a development team that is unbound by publishing companies and cookie-cutter boardroom meetings to produce a promised ambitious product. Because of this uncompromised vision, some amazing games have come out of crowdfunding. Critically acclaimed games that have been given the development time for refinement, like Pillars of Eternity, Shovel Knight, and one of my personal favorites, Skullgirls. Now, I have seen nothing but praise for this game. One of my most proudest videos was covering it. You should watch that, by the way. And now the same developers, Lab Zero Games, is starting a new Indiegogo campaign for an all-new project. Indivisible, inspired by games like Valkyrie Profile and Super Metroid, crosses the open-ended platforming with a dynamic RPG battle system. After seeing the screenshots and following the development on Twitter, I was a little bit worried about how the two systems would transition into one another. But after playing the free prototype, which is available for download, I have to say I am really impressed with what Lab Zero has done. The game is barely in its pre-alpha stages and it runs better than some finished AAA products. Indivisible follows Ajna, an adventurous girl whose village is attacked by warlords. She has discovered a mysterious spiritual power and is now on a quest to learn more about herself and defeat those that destroyed her hometown. Ajna's unique ability is to call upon incarnations, spirits that act as party members. These spirits aren't just summoned once in a battle, but are distinct characters that you can interact with. At a press of a button, the player can go straight to Ajna's inner realm, which acts as the game's hub world. And there you can upgrade gear, interact with the incarnations, and take side quests built for developing these characters. I really like this universe building mechanic. I have played many a RPG, and now there is an actual reason for my party members to randomly merge with me. Plus, it means I won't have to do backtracking through a dungeon to get equipment, and I can access almost anything that I need on the fly. It seems like the kind of mechanic which would act as a great way for not just keeping the design concise, but can act as a solid character building tool since the inner realm is a projection of Ajna's being, so it will be good to see its significance in the story. Indivisible crosses two of my favorite genres and plays great. The movement is tight and crisp, the level design is fairly thought-provoking, all while having the sense of fluidity to it. Since the game isn't filled with random encounters, there isn't a jarring sense of urgency to not mess up platforming sections, so you can take your time and explore. All of the enemies are already present on the map, so you jump straight into combat. It feels like the game was built to not waste your time, and Lab Zero has emphasized that they don't want to have the game time padded out by grinding, which has been a huge blunder for many role-playing games. I'm just thankful that this game wouldn't have me trying to do precise jumping just to... The battle system really stands out from other turn-based systems. Once the meter allows it, a character could perform an action with their allocated button, and pressing up or down brings variety to the character's moveset, so you can time and plan out a sequence of attacks to maximize damage, or to place enemies into a new position to help your strategy. Comboing characters' moves together effectively also grants you a super meter, which can be used for unique tools in a character's move pool, whether it's a strong move, a strike through a line of enemies, or to heal your allies. Defending also works the same, where you can reduce damage if you press the right character's button within a window of time. The layering of all of these elements makes this battle system really enthralling. I love that it rewards strategy and execution. It's a little hard to get used to at first, but in no time you'll be timing out some furiously flashy combos. And speaking of flashy, did you see this game's art? I'm just saying, this is a prototype and it looks better than Mighty Number 9. If you know me, you know that I am a sucker for a good aesthetic. And Indivisible has the same engine as Skullgirls, which is built entirely around 2D animated sprites. And the fact that this entire game will be hand-drawn is really a testament of the hard work that needs to go into this game. The free-to-download prototype was completed by a small team over the span of 5 months, where that small team would work straight up illegal shifts because of some generous funding from 505 Games, who have come to an agreement with Lab Zero to complete Indivisible's budget of $3.5 million. By providing the $2 million and helping with aspects on localization, marketing, and a bunch of things on the business side, Lab Zero Games have tried their very best to be as transparent as possible with the public and about their funding situation. 505 Games was generous enough to give $2 million, considering that they're not interfering with the development. Most publishers will reach into a development team and change what they want. They could have washed out this game's diverse cultural influence because it doesn't fit with their focus groups. So a promise of uncompromised creativity is why I invest in crowdfunding. 505 Games is also letting Lab Zero have community development streams, where you can see them make the game and ask questions while it's in production. Most developers and especially publishers don't allow for that sort of stuff. So, if you are curious about game development, you can learn a lot from them. But I need to emphasize this. This game won't be made if the Indiegogo goal isn't reached. I can understand a lot of people's skepticism. A lot of external publishers for crowdfunding campaigns mislead the people about the cost of game development, and even use crowdfunding sites as a means to test market their game. Bloodstained had a $500,000 Kickstarter, but its budget is actually 10 times that number. Shenmue 3's Kickstarter had external funding from Sony as well. So, at least Lab Zero has tried their best to stay transparent and honest. The budget for Indivisible is $3.5 million, but 505 Games is only going to give $2 million, which is not enough to finish this game. So, we have this Indiegogo campaign to create a refined, uncompromised game that breaks through genre conventions by a development team that has crowdfunding experience and a good design philosophy. And in fact, Lab Zero's previous Indiegogo for Skullgirls actually over-delivered on their promises by providing even more content than what they promised. And it seems they have a lot of plans for Indivisible. So with Lab Zero's good track record and their honesty, I urge you to go to their Indiegogo page and try out their prototype, which you can play for free. If you like what you've played, then please consider joining me and backing this project. And seriously, as a backer reward, you get a little plushie of Rhodey the Tape here. It's just so pudgy, look at him. I love the ambition, and I pledged what I could. And hey, Lab Zero, if you're listening, I'm just gonna throw my hat in there. I wanna do what I can to help. Seriously, hit me up, slip into my DMs. I just want to do my part. And if you're watching, you can do your part. I left a link in the description to their Indiegogo page and respective social media. They are doing a lot of good stuff. And hey, if you don't believe me just yet, I made a video about how Skullgirls pushes fighting games further. For real, I'm actually really proud of that video, so feel free to check that one out once you've played the awesome Indivisible prototype, and helped give your support to these amazing developers. Also, bonus points to getting the guy who did the music for Secret of Mana.